Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Technically T, hitting you with another video today, man. I hope everybody out there is remaining safe during these times. If you gotta go out, man, I always say this, man, just wear a mask. Let's try to get over this thing. We don't want to be sitting in the house all year. 2020 is just about going. I don't want 2021 sitting in the house because everybody doesn't want to wear a mask, man. So please, if you gotta go out, make sure you mask up. Let's go ahead and get through this thing. Now, I know you didn't even click on this video so you can hear me talk about some quarantine mess, man. Nah, I'm pretty sure you clicked on it because you want to see me talk about the Google Pixel 4a. Now, before I get started, I do want to give a huge shout out to Google for dropping me this, not really to review. Google just wants you to have the device in your hands and share your experience with the people. So that's what I'm doing, man. I'm giving you my experience 1 week later of using the Google Pixel 4a as my main daily driver. Well, kind of my main daily driver, but we'll kind of get into that, man. So let's go ahead and talk about it, man, 1 week later with the Google Pixel 4a. Now, to start off the video, we always got to keep price in mind. Google Pixel 4a, $350. So just keep that in the back of your mind. If you think you're getting a super perfect device, although it is kind of perfect for what it does, you're gonna have some kind of shortcomings in certain places, man. But remember, $350. Everything can't be perfect. So with that being said, I'm not really gonna get too much into specs, man. We're not really gonna do all that. But I'll hit y'all with some of the main ones that you might wanna know. So this bad boy right here, and the only configuration that I know of that's out there, is gonna be 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of base storage. Now for $350, I feel like that's a major plus, man. So good job, Google, when you come to doing that. We got a 12 megapixel camera on the back. Now, you know Pixel's gonna give you them crispy pictures. You know that, man. Probably, arguably one of the best video cameras. Well, not video cameras. Arguably one of the best still cameras out there on the market, man. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. The front, you do have an 8 megapixel camera, and no, you don't have any of those super fancy Snapdragons. You're rocking the 730 with this. So you got more of a budget chipset, but don't let that steer you away at all. Yes, it's a budget chipset and a budget device, but it does not give you budget performance. So with that being said, man, what has it been like me using this Pixel 4a as my daily driver every single day since I've had it? So to start off with, the design. Now, we all know it's going to be a plastic design. For $350, that's what you're going to have to deal with. So plastic design, but I'm here to tell you, this is not a sloppy plastic design. It doesn't creak. It doesn't do anything like that. This is a solid plastic design. So don't let it fool you that for $350, you get something that's cheap. Nah, this bad boy is built very sturdy. Now, would it take a drop? Who knows? But one thing, it's plastic, it's not glass. So if you do drop it, it's not going to shatter and break like something with glass will. So just keep that in mind. But overall, the build quality has been absolutely perfect. I haven't had any issues with it. And this honestly is one of the first devices that I am not rushing out there to put a case on it. And I know I am the case dude. That's what I do. But for the first time, I don't really care about rushing out there and put a case on this device, man. I've been running this device naked and just dealing with it. That matte black texture on the back has really been good for grip, not slippery at all. This is probably one of the best feeling textures that I've felt on a smartphone to date. I just love it. So the design, even though it's plastic, it still gets an A+ in my book. Now, the next thing that's most important, man, is the display. That's the thing that we're looking at all day long. Now, with this, no, it's not going to give you those super high refresh rates. I don't personally care about that, man. 60 hertz is just fine. Now, if you're going to be a refresh rate snob, then yeah, that may bother you a little bit, because this is going to be a 60 hertz 1080p panel, but it is an OLED panel. And I'm gonna tell you right now, man, this display does not really leave me wanting for more. It gets it done. I love my Quad HD displays that comes in the S20s, and then it's gonna come in the Note 20 Ultra. I love those, do not get me wrong. But this 1080p OLED panel on this Pixel 4a with that, it's not Infinity O. Google doesn't call it Infinity O, but it just has that S10e little punch hole on the side. This display is absolutely amazing, man. And the viewing experience that you get out of this, even though it is a smaller screen phone, it still does very good because you're looking at basically all screen with small bezels. So the display is actually very good. Now, I know a lot of people say it don't get as bright as you want it to, but for me, it gets plenty of bright for me. Yeah, I can kind of see where it doesn't get bright as most phones do, but still plenty usable when we're talking about brightness on the overall scale. So the display, super solid, man. I really don't have any complaints about this display at all. Now, switching over to that processor, man, everyday performance. Now, me, I'm not running VPNs and running megaplex servers and all that type of stuff on my phone. Nah, I'm talking about somebody who just sends text messages, who's always on Twitter, who's watching YouTube videos, who's on Instagram and Facebook and different things like that. How is the performance going to be when you're talking about those tasks? And it chews through it. Now, this is the first phone for me that doesn't use a flagship processor where I was like, I am not really seeing a dramatic difference. Now, when you're going through apps that's like graphic intensive, such as like Instagram and Twitter and different things like that, you can kind of see it hiccup a little bit. That notion of it having a mid-range processor kind of shows its face just a little, but I'm gonna tell you what, it is not a deal breaker, and this has really opened my eyes. I am a person who's always been like, top processor or bust. That's just been my thing. When it comes to iPhone, you know, with the 813, 814s, all those are going to be top dog. But when it comes to the Android phones, I felt like some of those mid-range processors were lacking just a little bit. But we are talking about some optimization that's going on in this 4A, and they have it down pat. If the performance of a super flagship, which is what the 865 plus is a 100%, this bad boy is like a 95 to 90%, right on its tail. So the performance of this blows me away for 350 bucks. Usually when you get an Android for 350, it's gonna come with some compromises that you're not gonna like. And processor is usually one of those things that you can kind of noticeably tell that something is wrong. But with this Pixel 4a, I'm gonna be real. The processor is shocking. It is amazing, and don't get it twisted. You can kind of put this up against a flagship processor when we're talking about everyday tasks. Now, if you're using crazy multitasking and doing this and doing that, I'm pretty sure it can handle it just fine, because Google has some of the best optimization out there when it comes to stock Android. But for your everyday task, you'll be really hard pressed to say you tell the difference between this and a flagship processor. So the performance on this is A1. Next up, cameras. Now, I'm not really gonna talk too much about cameras because honestly, I don't leave out the house that much to snap a bunch of pictures. I've snapped just a few, but we already know when it comes to a Pixel stills camera, you know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get some of the best pictures out there, no matter what the system is. Now, we'll probably get into the camera a little bit more, but I haven't taken many pictures because I haven't really been that many places. If I did take a few pictures, I'll drop them in the video, but I'm pretty sure it might not even be any pictures at all. Video is one thing that I do want to test because to me, I feel like video has always been the weak point when it comes to Pixel devices. I will tell you this, man, I did shoot a couple videos of my girl and my son and different things like that because that's what matters most to me when it comes to a camera. You guys know I had the S20 Ultra, got rid of it because the camera was lacking for what I needed it to do. But the tracking on this, when you go to video and actually press the button and use it for tracking, Google software works amazingly well. So this is something that I really want to get into when it comes to the camera, and that's going to be the video capabilities of this Pixel 4a. But right offhand, I can tell you that the picture performance is pretty good. The pictures is A1, but the video performance is also surprisingly better than I thought it was. So later videos about that, we won't get into the cameras in a separate video. And of course, at the very end, we got to talk about the fingerprint scanner. Now, of course, this thing is clutch these days because we all masked up. Well, at least hope most of us is masked up. So you don't got time for your Face ID. Even my Face ID in my iPhone, you still have to put your passcode in after it sees you got a mask. Just a bunch of unnecessary stuff. But I'm gonna tell you what, sometimes, and I'm always bringing this back to other cheap Android devices. When you get them, they usually have lacking fingerprint scanners. If they do have one, they're slow, they kind of take a second. But I'm here to tell you, when you put your finger on that bad boy, I mean, it's open, boom, open, boom, open. It's instant. It literally has not failed me that many times unless my fingerprint was dirty, which it tells you that the fingerprint is dirty. That's the only time it has failed me when it comes to the fingerprint scanner. So Google, with this fingerprint scanner, even for it to be a mid-range device, has knocked it out the park when it comes to the actual fingerprint scanner performance on this 4a. So first week, I love this phone. Now, when I tell you that I was kind of using it as my daily driver, I have two lines, one for my iPhone. I always got to keep an iPhone, and I have another line for Android. And usually I always put the Android phone on the Android line, of course. But I started to really use this thing and I kind of swapped it over to the iPhone line. So right now my main SIM card is in the Google Pixel 4a, so I can give you guys a real test about me using this phone. A lot of people put it on like a secondary line and they don't really use it every single day. But me, no, when I leave out the house, this bad boy is in my pocket. When I'm running my YouTube channel, this is in my pocket. So I'm gonna give you the full rundown. Now for right now, I know everything may sound like tea. You are gassing this phone up. Everything is perfect, but I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I really haven't found much negatives that I don't like about this phone. Yeah, the screen size is a little small. It does have front firing speakers, the stereo speakers on the top and bottom. I forgot to mention that. They do sound good, but if they get extremely loud, it does get a little bit distorted. So you know, it is what it is. Camera, when it processes picture, it does process for a few seconds after you take the picture. And of course, that has to do with your processor and different things like that. And I mean, it has a headphone jack for everybody who still wants a headphone jack. No, it does not have wireless charging, but that's what you have to sacrifice with this plastic back. No, it doesn't have an IP68 rating. I personally don't care because I'm careful with my devices anyway. So you really have to find what means the most to you. But for me, for $350, this is probably the best budget phone out there that you can get. No, I haven't tried the iPhone SE2. Everybody is basically comparing directly to that, but I will tell you with the design and the screen and the battery life, how did I forget to even talk about the battery life? The battery life on this thing is amazing. I think today I pulled over 5 hours of screen on time. You probably don't believe me because I forgot to take the screenshot and I meant to do it, but I forgot. But yeah, I did get 5 hours of screen on time with this bad boy right here. So battery is no issue with this. So first week, Pixel 4a, absolutely love this phone. I will be getting into more of it. We're gonna get into a review. I got plenty of cases coming up. I think some cases should be delivered to me like tomorrow or whenever you see this video, I probably already have them. Spigen, Caseology, you already know, minimal cases. They're all coming for the Pixel 4a, man. So let me know in the comments down below what you want to see with the 4a. Let me know down there if you got the 4a, what you think about it, if you pre-ordered it. Also, let me know down below and let me know if you're ready to get it. But yo, sitting T, I'm about to get up out of here, man. Make sure you hit that like button. I definitely haven't been recording videos a lot these days, but we going back in. I've been working on the shooting space. I've been working on the studio, so more videos are to come, man. So make sure you hit that like button, turn that bell on after you hit that sub button so you don't miss any of these uploads, man. But until next time, later.